Comic Uno. Today I'm doing a review for Batman issue 19. But before I start talking about this issue, just want to give you guys a little update. I have 4 comic book reviews that I usually do on Comic Uno that I did on DarkAvengerINC this week, which are Invisible Universe issue 1, Fantastic Four issue 6, Wolverine issue 2, and Uncanny X-Men issue 4. So if you want to go check out those reviews, just go in the description below and there'll be a link for DarkAvengerINC, so you go check those out. And guys, I also have another update. I have a friend that's doing a Kickstarter for a comic book called The Devil's Pool. So if you want to go check out their Kickstarter, see what their comic book is all about, go in the description below. There'll be a link for the Kickstarter. And I actually have a review on their Kickstarter for issue 0 that I did a couple of months ago. So if you want to see why this series is so original, which actually is very original, go check out my review. Go check out the Kickstarter in the description below. So go check that out. And let's talk about Batman issue 19. Let's talk about this gatefold cover, which a lot of people were like, oh, why is this happening? So we get to see Bruce is pointing a gun at Commissioner Gordon. So, and of course we have this Batman little shadow, which I love. I do love this cover. I was like, oh, why is this happening? I was very excited to see why this was happening. And we do see why this happens in this issue, and they don't mislead you. So very good cover. Let's see if I like the story. So the story begins with the Now, which is at Gotham National Bank, where Batman is stealing money and keeping hostage and having a gun and trying to shoot at James Gordon. So we actually get to see, I think, James Gordon, Commissioner Gordon shot, but he probably has his bulletproof vest, so nothing really happened to him, and I'm sure Bruce knew that. So nothing happens to him, but it just shows that obviously Bruce is different. What's going on with him? Why is he stealing from a bank? But we go back to the 6 days ago, where we get to see Batman's looking at the Bat Archives, seeing Damian in action still mourning for Damian. But he has to realize there is a bigger mission. And one of his, I guess, co-workers, Brian Wade, who is part of building buildings and stuff, and he actually just died, and he was like, why is this happening? Why would he commit suicide? So we find out actually Clayface is behind all this, and we get to see Clayface is taking part of even Lucas. So we get to see Clayface takes part for Bruce, and now's the end of this issue. We find out exactly why that that first part of the story makes so much sense. It's Clayface, which is really the only option I think you really could think of how Bruce is going crazy, unless there's some like sort of serum or something that's making him go crazy. But it's Clayface. He's become even stronger. He's mutated, and that's what we learn. I don't know. The one thing I was confused about in this issue was is Wade. I have to find his first name. Let me see. Is Brian Wade dead? I don't know. Like, I think that was Clayface that was hurting. Obviously, it was Clayface that was hurting Bruce, but was he dead? I don't know. That's a little bit thing I was confused about. Or was Clayface dead? Yeah. And if he did die or didn't die, if they're just performing this as Clayface would do because he's an actor, if they're performing this, why did this happen? So that was the one thing I was confused about in this issue. But let me also talk about the supporting story, the secondary story, which is Batman and Superman teaming up for this magic type of story, and this girl filled with magic, and there's this big monster as a cliffhanger. And also it's more of Superman trying to console Batman, saying if you ever need to talk, I'm just a couple of minutes away. So I think that's more of the consoling part of Batman, at least for Damian, for Superman, seeing more of that friendship, that Superman and Batman friendship. So I enjoyed this issue, but you could also tell it's just kind of a filler story for 0 Year, and I really hope the whole mourning of Damian. I talked more about this at Batman and Robin, so if you want to hear more of my mourning story for Batman, but I'm going to sum it up here and say that I hope that Batman, starts to heal himself from Damian's death, and I think it's so many signs that he will, and so many people want to help him, and there's still a lot of signs that he's still mourning for Damian in this issue, and even more in Batman and Red Robin this week. So I just hope that he does mourn, and maybe in the end of the secondary story he's like, alright Superman, I need to talk to you, and maybe we'll see that. Or I really just hope it's before 0 Year. That's the point I'm trying to bring up, is I hope it's before 0 Year, because then there's going to be this big gap and we won't be able to see Batman mourn anymore, and I just want him to get over it before that. Because as a reader, I think we're getting a little bored from it, but as a reader, we also understand why Bruce is doing all this. But I feel like it's kind of the same thing over and over again also. But I understand why. I just hope it kind of quickens his mourning process, and if he does mourn, make it a little different. I think they did make it different in this issue. I thought this issue was, again, it was interesting, but you also feel it's a filler issue also, again, going to 0 year. But the Clayface story is always interesting, seeing him. And the beginning was it was really interesting to see the beginning. So I enjoyed the first part of this issue a lot. I just thought it was a really solid issue. You know, nothing amazing. Usually for Batman it is amazing, which I was a little surprised that this issue wasn't. But it is still a solid issue, and it is a $4 comic book, so that's why it's kind of a short issue. So that's kind of a worry of mine, because they did have that secondary story. So hopefully that secondary story is important. That's why it wasn't perfect, but I did enjoy it still. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. There's obviously some good stuff in this issue, but just wasn't as good as I expected it to be. But go check it out. This is Comic Uno. Hope you guys enjoyed. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the Rad Situations. I'll see you guys later. I give this 4 stars, and I say pick it up. Bye, guys.